Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा, कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let's recite Bhagavad Gita Sloka. We're going to recite Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 text 7. Does anyone need to go first? No? So we'll just go in order then. I think today Prabhu will begin. Yes, Prabhuji. I think today Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat, Prabhuji. Etam vibhutim yogam cha
Etam vivutim yogam cha
mama yo vetti tattvataha
mama mama yo viti
tattvataha
tatvataha
so vikalpena yogena
so vikalpena yogena
yujyate natra samshayah.
yujvate natra samsaya. Translation: one who is factually convinced of the opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Aditi Lata Mataji and Avinita.
Hare Krishna Mataji. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unwise devotional service. Of this there is Sri Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Etam vibhutim yuktam cha mama yo vetti tattvataha so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshaya. One who is factually convinced of his opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, next is Isha.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha samayogati tattvataha sovakalpena yogena yujyate nata samshayah. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Krishna Shish.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha yamayogeti tattvataha savikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshayah. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Madhava.
Idam vibhutim yogam cha yamayogati tattvataha savikalpena
So vikalpena
yogena yujyate natra samshayah. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Rasapriya.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo vetti tattvataha so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshaya. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Lokesh. Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvataha suvikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshayah. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Location from maybe recite later.
Yeah. Sonia Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tatvata so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra sanshaya. One who factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Usha Mataji and Neda.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all praise to Srila Prabhupada, all praise to the assembled devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo vetti tatpataha so vikalpa kalpena yogena yuchyate natra samshayaha. Translation. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Thank you.
Thank you. Neda.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tatvataha so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samsayaha. Translation. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Next is Priyanka Mataji. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tatvataha aso vikalpena yogena yujyate natra sanshayah. One who is factually convinced of this opulence of mind and mystic power engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Yes, thank you. Who is next? Suvarnangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Namaskaram, Salvashri Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Etam vibhuti yogam cha mama yo veti tatvatah so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshayah. Translation. One who is actually convinced of this opulence and the mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvataha so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samsayah. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Next.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tatvataha so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshayah. Translation. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and the mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Yes. Spurti is not there. Okay. Achyut Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvataha सुविकल्पेन योगेन युज्यते नात्र संशयः. Translation of Bhagavad. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Did anyone not recite yet? I'll also recite Bhagavad Gita 10:7. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo vetti tattvataha so vikalpena yogena jyate natra samshayaha. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Yes, Lokesh?
Ektam vibhutim yogam cha mamaya vetti tatpatah savikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshayah. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in another devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? Okay. So shall we start? Begin Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's begin. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 3. We were reading about Sukanya. Remember? So we saw that Sukanya was married to Chavan Muni, who was very old, right? We saw his skin is loose and his hair is grey. Maybe he even didn't have his teeth. Very old. And how she served him very patiently without becoming bewildered. As a result of this service, her husband was very pleased. We can understand that. It's not said in the verses, but in between lines we can understand. He was so pleased that he also wanted to please her. So understanding that she is a young lady, so she would also desire to have a nice, young, handsome husband. Chavanamuni asked the Ashwini Kumaras. Who are Ashwini Kumaras? Ashwini Kumaras are the physicians, heavenly physicians. So once they visited Chavanamuni, so Chavanamuni asked them if he could get youth, if they could turn his old body into a young, handsome, beautiful body. And also he offered that by his power, Chavanamuni could actually make Ashwini Kumaras partake of the Somaras, which the other demigods could drink, but the Ashwini Kumaras were not allowed. So the Ashwini Kumaras were very happy with this proposal. So they said, yes, of course we can make you young. Come and take a dip, right? Take a bath in this river. But Chavanamuni was so old that he could not even get down into the river on his own. So both the Ashwini Kumaras took hold of his each arm on either side, and all three of them entered into that water. And when they came outside, there were three dazzling, beautiful demigods, right? They look like demigods. Very beautiful personalities. And then Sukanya was waiting outside for her husband, and she sees these three equally beautiful men. Here, Srila Prabhupada said, there was no way that Sukanya could find out on her own who her husband was. So she had a reason to just pick any one of the three. She could have just picked any one of the three, and she could very easily get away saying that she didn't have any way to figure out who was her husband. But because she was a chaste lady, she didn't like that. She wanted only her husband. Never mind whether he is old or he is, irritable, whatever it is. But she was a chaste lady. She only wanted her husband. So now, when these three personalities came, she took shelter of the Ashwini Kumaras. She started praying to them, please reveal to me who is my husband. The Ashwini Kumaras were very pleased with the chastity of Sukanya, and then they showed, this is your husband. And then after showing her, they took permission from Chavanmuni and left. So in this way, some time passed. Sukanya is now with her husband Chavanmuni, but who was now in a beautiful, glowing form, a young, handsome body. One day, her father, what's the name of Sukanya's father? Sharyati, very good. King Sharyati wanted to perform a sacrifice. So he came to visit Chavanmuni. So he came to the ashram of Chavanmuni in the forest, and he saw his beautiful daughter. But what did he see? She's sitting next to a young, handsome man instead of the old Chavanmuni. When Sharyati saw this, he was taken aback. He was surprised. So that's where we stopped yesterday. Let's continue. I think Priyanka Mataji is supposed to read today. Is that right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So text 19. Raja duhitaram praha krita padabhivandanam Ashishashchaprayunjano nati priti mana iva. Yes, Mataji.
After receiving obeisances from his daughter, the king, instead of offering blessings to her, appeared very displeased and spoke as follows.
So when King Sharyati appeared, obviously Sukanya was so happy, right? Her father has come to her place. So with great affection, she got up and she bowed down. So what would a father do if he saw a daughter after a long time? A daughter who's married and sent away to the husband's house? He would be so pleased to see her. And what to speak of if she's bowing down at his feet? He would bless her, right? Long, may you live long, may you remain, married, right? May you live with your husband for a long time, like that. But King Sharyati did not bless her. When she bowed down, he looked displeased. He was not happy to see Sukanya. And he began to speak as follows. What did he say? Chikirshitam te kimidam patistvaya pralambito loka namaskrito munihi yatvam jaragrastam asatya sammatam vihaya jaram bhajase mumadhvagam. So, after Priyanka Mataji, is it Narsimha Leela Chaitanya Prabhu? I think so. Yeah, so Suhrid, Spurti, Suvarnangi Mataji and Narsimha. They read yesterday. Huh? They read? Yes, Suraj?
Mataji, we read yesterday.
You read. Okay, great. Thank you. So then we have to begin again with Achit Priya Mataji, right? I'm not missing anyone. Achit Priya Mataji?
Yes. Translation, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Oh, unchaste girl, what is this that you have desired to do? You have cheated the most respectable husband, who is honored by everyone. For I see that because he was old, diseased, and therefore unattractive, you have left his company to accept as your husband this young man, who appears to be a beggar from the street.
So,
Thank you.
thank you, Mataji. When you may have this experience also, uh, especially parents, maybe even husbands, if they don't like something, even according to ordinary calculation, it may look very attractive, very nice, but they'll say, this is useless, this is right. So here was this very handsome, glowing person, but to King Shariati, he looks like a beggar from the street, right? So why was Shariati upset? He thought Sukanya has given up her husband, Chavanamuni. Why? Because he was an old man, diseased man, therefore not attractive. So Sukanya has given up her husband for this young man. But your choice is bad. Your husband is so respectable. You are so less intelligent. You have given up such a respectable husband for this beggar next to whom you are sitting. Like that. Okay. So next, I think Inba, your turn. Oh, unchaste girl, what is this that you have desired to do? You have cheated, right? You have cheated. You have left him means what? You have cheated, betrayed your husband. And what type of husband? The most respectable husband who is honored by everyone, even demigods come to him. Why am I saying this? Because you have given him up because he was old, diseased, and unattractive. You have left him, and now you have accepted another young husband, right? But he appears like a beggar from the street. Purport. Inba? Actually, wait. Sorry.
Aditi Lata
Achintya
Mataji.
Dev Prabhu. Achintya Dev Prabhu, Aditi Lata Mataji, and Arunita.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Purport.
Yes.
This shows the values of Vedic culture. According to circumstances, Sukanya had been given a husband who was too old to be compatible with her. Because Shavan Muni was diseased and very old, he was certainly unfit for the beautiful daughter of King Saryati. Nonetheless, her father expected her to
Expected.
be faithful to her husband. When he suddenly saw that his daughter had accepted someone else, even though the man was young and handsome, he immediately chastised her as asati, unchaste, because he assumed that she had accepted another man in the presence of her husband. According to the Vedic culture, even if a young woman is given an old husband, she must respectfully serve him. This is chastity. It is not it is not that because she dislikes her husband, she may give him up and accept another. This is against Vedic culture. According to Vedic culture, a woman must accept the husband given to her by her parents and remain chaste and faithful to him. Therefore, King Saryati was surprised to see a young man by the side of Sukanya. Thank you, Mother Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, again, a very important point here about Vedic culture. What is the whole purpose of this Vedic culture, by the way? What are the Vedas trying to like through the Vedic injunctions, right? The Vedas give us a lifestyle. The Vedic culture is a lifestyle. What is the purpose of this lifestyle? The purpose of the Vedic lifestyle is to uplift all types of people, whether someone is in ignorance, in passion, in goodness, right? To uplift all different types of people gradually to the stage of transcendence, to come out of this bodily platform, because we don't belong to this material world. That's the whole plan. That's the whole idea of this material creation. And the Vedas are guiding us how we can actually come out of this. So, the injunctions given by the Vedas for each type of person, whether he's in passion, ignorance, or goodness. Passion, ignorance, of goodness means it's nothing but Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Those in goodness are Brahmanas, those in passion are Kshatriyas, those in mixed modes of passion, ignorance are Vaishyas, those who are purely in ignorance are Shudras. And then, of course, you have Panchamas, right? The Chandalas and Mlechas, Yavanas, they come as Panchamas. The Vedas have a plan for all types of people. So the injunctions or the duties for each type of person as enjoined in the Vedas, these duties are called dharma. If we want to make spiritual advancement, under all circumstances, one must adhere to his dharma. Dharma is not practiced because by following dharma, I will get some material profit, or I will be relieved from some pain, or I will get some fame. No, that is not the reason why one follows dharma. For example, here, Sukanya's case. She is married to an old husband, sick, diseased, and on top of that, very irritable. It's not at all pleasing to be married to such a man. Then why she is holding on to him? Why she is serving him patiently? What is the reason? It is because it is her dharma. She is married. Now, if she just carried out her dharma of a wife, that holding on to one's dharma will eventually help you to transcend the three modes. And this is true for anyone. If you are a brahmachari, if you stick to your dharma, so the brahmacharis have their duties, dharma, then that will liberate him. If you are a brahmana, if you stick to your dharma, simply by sticking to your dharma, it will liberate you. And we all know Bhagavad Gita, Arjun is a Kshatriya. How Krishna is time and again telling Arjun, you do your dharma, whether profit or loss, victory or defeat. Huh? What is the third one? Victory, defeat, profit, loss, happiness or distress. Yeah, happiness or distress. Under all circumstances, don't consider whether this, by doing this duty, is it giving me distress or happiness. If it's giving me distress, then I will escape my dharma. I won't do my dharma. Or if this, by doing this dharma, if I'm going to get loss, I won't do this dharma. But if it's going to give me profit, I will do this dharma. That type of practicing dharma will not help. Dharma means it should be followed regardless of whether you are getting happiness or distress, profit or loss, victory or defeat. You just hold on to your dharma. If somebody is able to practice dharma like this will liberate him from his material condition of life. And that's the whole purpose of giving dharma by the Vedas. And Vedic society or Vedic culture means what? Vedic society means a society where people accept the Vedic injunctions. They are adhering to their dharma. That's a Vedic society. So here we are taking one example of a lady who is married. A married lady's dharma is to remain chaste to her husband. So whether it gives you happiness or distress, you just carry out your duty, seeing that this is your dharma. And if you do this, never mind, you may suffer in this life. But by adhering to this dharma, your next life is going to be maybe spiritual. Right? You'll transcend the three modes, you'll be liberated. That's the point. See, what is Srila Prabhupada saying? That yes, according to Vedic culture, even if a young woman is given an old husband, she must respectfully serve him. Again, please don't bring in the cases where the women are cruelly abused by the husbands. We are not talking about those cases. Extreme cases are different, right? And they have to be handled separately. That's not what we are talking about. In general, like take this case, you're married to an old man and you don't like, regardless of that, there are many cases, right? In Shastras we will see. You cannot give up because it's not giving you pleasure or it's not profitable. He's a poor man, another, right? Another reason for divorce. He doesn't make enough money or he is not very attractive or even he is short-tempered, he is irritable. These are no reasons to give up one's husband. Or I find someone else more attractive than my husband. So that going by what your senses are telling you, senses means senses include the mind. Manaha shashtani indriyani. Shashtani indriyani means 6 indriyas are there. So 5 are eyes, nose, ears, tongue and skin. And 6th one is the mind. Mind is also counted as a sense, indriya. So if you simply go by what your senses are telling you, that's not actually very smart. Because the senses will degrade you. If you follow your senses, remember that analogy of a chariot being drawn by horses. Horses are compared to the senses. If you let the horses guide on their own, without intelligence, without taking note of what the passenger wants, then the whole chariot will go and fall in a ditch along with the passenger. So we cannot go by what my senses are saying. Oh, this feels good, so I will do this. Just think about it. Modern society, today's society, do what feels good, isn't it? So you don't think your husband is very attractive, so now I'll choose another person. That person is more why? Because I like means my senses are liking it. So this is not good. Why it is not good? Because it will take you down further. Adho gachanti. You go down, it will take you to hell. This type of, if you simply follow the dictates of your senses and your mind, the mind will drag us down to hell. Rather, if you tolerate the urges of the senses and the mind and you stick to dharma, dharma is the duties that are prescribed for you by the scriptures, then that adherence to dharma will elevate you to higher realms. So that's the lesson. So Sukanya was, so now why King Sharyati got upset with his daughter? Because he thought she gave up her dharma of serving her husband and now she is associating with another man. Next. Katham matiste vagatanyatha satam kulaprasute kuladushanam tvidam bibharshijaram yadapatrapakulam pituscha bhartuscha nayasya dhastamaha. So Achit Priya Mataji read, Achintite Prabhu read. Arunita and Aditi Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Oh my daughter, you were born in a respectable family. How have you degraded your consciousness in this way? How is it that you are shamelessly maintaining
A paramour.
You will thus degrade the dynasties of both your father and your husband to hellish life.
Yes. So King Shariati continues to speak to his daughter. Oh my daughter, who were born in a respectable family. You are born in such a high family. Who is she? She is a descendant of Vaivasvata Manu. So she has all those values. She was trained, and also by birth she has that. And in spite of that, how she has degraded herself. How have you degraded your consciousness in this way? Right? Another important point. See, those people who are sober, who are in the mode of goodness, they fear to commit sin. They fear to tell a lie. They fear telling lies, but they would prefer to tolerate the pain that comes by telling the truth. So if you tell the truth, you will suffer. There are some situations where if you told the truth, then you would have to bear the painful consequences. But if you simply told a lie, you could escape the painful situation. But people who are in the mode of goodness, people who are sober, they would rather suffer the pain by telling the truth than escape that pain by telling a lie. They are very fearful of telling a lie. We hear this in the case of Vasudev. Vasudev handed over all his sons to Kamsa. Handed over means in the beginning he promised that he will give all sons to Kamsa. So there, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, Kamsa had the fear of only the 8th son. Vasudev could have given only the 8th son. He could have promised to give the 8th son. Why Vasudev promised to give all 8 sons? So, of course, there are other points involved there. But the thing is, he's sober, right? And then when the first son was born, he went and gave to Kamsa. Without Kamsa sending soldiers to take the baby, on his own he took the first newborn baby and went to Kamsa. Why? The reason is he feared being a liar. He couldn't tell a lie. How did it become a lie? Because he had said he would give his sons. And now if he didn't give the son, if he made an excuse, some excuse, then he would become a liar. After promising to do something, if you don't do, that means you're a liar. You said you would do something and now you're not doing it. That means you're a liar. And Vasudev could not tolerate being a liar. He would rather suffer the pain of his first born baby being killed in front of his eyes. He could bear that pain but he could not bear the pain of telling a lie. This is the quality of a sober person. Whereas someone who is demoniac, someone who is in the modes of passion and ignorance, when he faces a difficulty, immediately he will change his mind, he will go back on his word, right? He'll tell a lie. Or he can do any type of, he can do anything. And he won't even feel that I have done something wrong. Rather, he'll feel happy. Oh, how smart I was able to escape this situation. Such people, they don't stick to dharma. People in the modes of passion and ignorance, they don't stick to dharma. Whereas people like Vasudev, they can go to any extent, they can sacrifice anything for the sake of dharma. So here, what are we seeing? That how have you degraded your consciousness in this way? How is it that you are shamelessly maintaining a paramour? Yeah, so I'm just trying to think why I brought this point here. Oh, my daughter, who were born in a respectable family, how have you degraded your consciousness? That's the point, right? How have you degraded your consciousness? How have you degraded your consciousness? That means, how did you change? You know the dharma. How did you go back on that? Right? That means now it's a demoniac quality. To go back on your dharma is a demoniac quality. But you are from such a high family, such a respectable family. How is it possible that you could do something like this? Just like Krishna also told Arjun, right? Anarya Jushtam Aswargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. You are Arya, but this type of behavior doesn't belong to Arya. This belongs to Anarya. Right? Those who are not sober, they can behave. You can expect this type of behavior from them. But you cannot expect this type of behavior from the Aryas like that. So Shariati is also surprised. It's unbelievable. How did it happen that his daughter, she's degraded to such an extent? I can't believe it like that. How is it that you are shamelessly maintaining a paramour? Who's a paramour? Paramour means even though you're married, you have a relationship with someone other than your spouse. So you may have a wife, but you have another girlfriend. Or you may have a husband and you have another boyfriend. This is called a paramour. This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable in the Vedic society. So how is it that you are shamelessly maintaining a paramour? And by this act, you will degrade the dynasties of both your father and your husband to hellish life. So by your sins, it works both ways, right? If one person becomes a devotee, then all the ancestors and descendants, everyone will get the benefit. They'll be liberated, it is said. Actually, about sin, it is said if you commit sin, then only you suffer, right? But here King Shariati is saying, no, by your sin, the family members of your father and your husband, they will all go to hell. So, King Shariati is saying this is said in Bhagavatam. So we'll just accept it. Let's read Srila Prabhupada's purport. Purport.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
It is quite clear that according to Vedic culture, a woman who accepts a paramour or second husband in the presence of the husband who has married is certainly responsible for the degradation of her father's family and the family of her husband. The rules of Vedic culture in this regard are strictly observed in the respectable families of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas even today. Only the Shudras are degraded in this manner. For a woman of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya class to accept another husband in the presence of the husband who has married, or to file for divorce or accept a boyfriend or paramour is unacceptable in the Vedic culture. Therefore, King Saryati, who did not know the real facts of Chavanamuni's transformation, was surprised to see the behavior of his daughter.
So, from the purport, I understand it is specifically for the case where a woman, uh, you know, becomes degraded. In that case, degraded means she has some, and even that, especially you see, when you are from a higher caste, there is higher expectation from you. So, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya. A woman from Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, if she accepts a paramour or a second husband, while the husband that she's married to is still present, then she will cause the degradation of both her husband's family and her father's family. Degradation in what way? King Sharyati said, sending them to hell. So we have a responsibility always, even if the mind sometimes becomes diverted, distracted here and there, because we are surrounded by the material energy. Sometimes, even if the mind gets distracted, we should never act upon it. We should never act upon it. And we should understand that if I did something wrong, it's not just me who's going to suffer. There are so many others who are connected with me, and unnecessarily they will all have to suffer. We are all leaders to in some capacity. Yes, if we are parents, then we are leaders to the children. If you are the father or a husband, then you are the leader for your wife and children, and also for your elderly parents, right? And so many others. You may have friends who really depend on your, advice. They look up to you. So if we act on the impulse of our mind, so many people will be affected. What to speak of if you are a guru and you have so many disciples? How much the disciples are going to suffer? They lose faith. So therefore, again, this is not really, that by my power I will be able to overcome Maya. We cannot. Maya is extremely powerful. Maya is extremely powerful. Controlling our mind, controlling our desires is not in our hands, really. All we can do, what is within our capacity, is to go and fall on the feet of Krishna. That much we have. That capacity we have. That is within our control. We can go and fall down on the feet of Krishna. Cry out to Krishna. Seek help, taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. That this Maya is insurmountable. It's beyond my capacity. Whether it is fear or temptation, it's beyond our capacity. But if we take shelter of Krishna, then who is Maya? Maya is Krishna's maidservant. Very easily, Krishna can just remove that obstacle. And all of a sudden, that thing which appeared like, insurmountable, all of a sudden it just disappears by Krishna's mercy. So again, falling at Krishna's feet, taking shelter of Krishna, how will that happen? When we are diligent in our daily practice of Krishna consciousness, then when the test comes, we will be reminded of what to do at the time of test. If we are negligent in our daily practices of Krishna consciousness, then when the test comes, we will fail and will become degraded. We will be overcome by the temptations or by fear. Out of fear, to escape danger, we commit some activity which is against dharma. So, here we are seeing that you will thus degrade the dynasties of both your because Sukanya, right, she will be the, of course she didn't do anything, but this is all in the mind of Sharyati, that because of your behavior of accepting another husband, that means why a woman would do that? Out of temptation, yes, out of desire. But by doing that, so many people are getting affected. Both the dynasties of the husband and the father are going to go to hell. So instead of that, even if one has that desire, what should he do? He or she? He should see the consequences. Most of the time, if you just look at the consequences, then you become sober. How many people are going to be affected? When you see that, then you'll give up that desire. So, just another point there. Purport. So, Inba, right? Next. Or Mataji read the purport already. Mataji, did you read already?
No, Aditi did not lead. Mataji, she'll just read in after 1 or 2. She's just doing some puja.
Oh, I thought Mataji said yes and she started reading.
Oh, she read the purport, sorry.
She did, okay. So it is quite clear that according to Vedic culture, a woman who accepts a paramour or second, yeah, she read this. Yeah, so what I was trying to say here was that going to hell when you commit sin, here in this context, specifically it is about a woman who accepts another husband in the presence of her husband, then she will cause her husband and father's families also to go to hell. Because elsewhere we read that when someone does sin, only he suffers. But when someone does some good activity, the benefits are reaped by others also, right? In the case of Ratnakar, who later on became Valmiki. So Narad Muni told that you are killing so many animals. Why you are killing? And you are plundering people. This is a sinful activity. He said, because I want to maintain my family, to feed them. This is all I know, so I'm doing this. So he said, to maintain your family, you're doing so many sinful activities. So now, is your family going to share the reactions of this sin? And he said, of course they will share. And then he went home and he asked. So Narad Muni said, okay, you go home and ask if they will share. So he asked his father, mother, wife. They all said, why we will share your sin? Maintaining us is your responsibility. You are our grown-up son. You are my husband. So it's your job. It's your responsibility to maintain us. How you bring, that's your problem. If you commit sinful activities to maintain us, then you have to suffer. Why we will suffer? So there it is said that when you do sin, you will suffer. Not that I am doing sin for this person, that person, therefore they will also share. No, they will not share. But this is a case here we are reading specifically. In this case, where a woman, becomes unchaste, then she will suffer, of course, but also husband and father's dynasties, they also suffer. Okay. So next, continue. So Inba. Evam bruvanam pitaram smayamana shuchismita uvacha tata jamata tavaisha bhrigunandanaha.
Sukanya, however, being very proud of her chastity, smiled upon hearing the rebukes of her father. She smilingly told him, "My dear father, this young man by my side is your actual son-in-law, the great sage Chavana, who was born in the family of Brigu."
So the father went on chastising, you know, you unchaste girl, you have degraded my family and the great Chavanamuni's family. You shameless lady, you accepted this rogue, this beggar from the street. For his sake, you have renounced your, like this. He went on and on. And Sukanya sitting there and smiling because she knew that she didn't do anything wrong, and the father is saying all this out of ignorance, not knowing that this handsome young man is none other than the sage Chavanamuni himself. So she just kept smiling, and after the father finished, she said, "My dear father, the person you're seeing sitting next to me is none other than the great Chavanamuni, your son-in-law." Okay. And next, Inia.
Purport. Although the father chastised the daughter, assuming that she had accepted another husband, the daughter knew that she was completely honest and chaste, and therefore she was smiling. When she explained that her husband, Chavanamuni, had now been transformed into a young man, she was very proud of her chastity, and thus she smiled as she talked with her father.
Yes. The reason she was smiling is because she knew she didn't do anything wrong. The father is saying all these things thinking that she became unchaste, but she was not unchaste. So whatever he said didn't apply to her. So it didn't affect her in any way. So she just smiled. And she was very proud of her chastity, right? That, yeah, of course, she should be. So next. शशंस पित्रे तत्सर्वं वयोरूपाभिलम्भनं विस्मितः परमप्रीतस्तनयां परिशस्वजे. Mataji, Prabhuji.
Mataji, they're not here.
No? Okay. I thought Jai Ganesh Prabhu logged in just now.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Oh.
Dandot Pranam. I just joined.
Yes, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thus, Sukanya explained how her husband had received the beautiful body of a young man. When the king heard this, he was very surprised, and in great pleasure, he embraced his beloved daughter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the king was very happy, of course, right? He may have even felt, right, when he gave his young daughter to an old sage. According to, in that circumstance, he just gave her to get out of the danger. But he may have felt, right, my beautiful daughter, it would have been nice if she also had a young, like a king, someone. He may have felt like that. We don't know. But so now when he saw that she's very chaste and she's still married to Chavan Muni, so first of all, he was thinking that she was unchaste. When he found out she was not unchaste, he was very happy. He was very happy. And on top of that, Chavan Muni became a young, handsome man. So good for his daughter, right? So doubly, 2 times, it gave him great pleasure. And of course, he was very surprised also. This man, this young, handsome man is Chavan Muni. He was very surprised. And he experienced great pleasure. He embraced his beloved daughter. Next. So, Mataji is not there, right? Inia? Jayashri Mataji is not there.
Yes, Mataji.
So, let's stop here. It's already 5:17. And we'll read Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. We have to continue. So tomorrow we'll begin with Isha. Isha Krishna Shish Madhava Rasapriya. And we were reading Sarvadharman Parityaja yesterday. We stopped in the middle of the purport. So let's recite the verse once again and then we'll continue the purport where we left off. Please repeat. Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Shayishyami ma shuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So here Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport that so far in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke so many different types of dharmas. Yes, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, duties of Brahmanas, duties of Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, like that. So many dharmas Krishna explained. And now finally Krishna is saying, my dear Arjun, whatever I told you so far, forget about everything. Parityajya, give up. Then what should you do? Surrender unto me. That's the point. So then we read that, yes, surrender unto me means what? Surrendering unto Krishna means when one surrenders to Krishna, he begins pure devotional service, pure unalloyed devotional service. So now you may say, for pure unalloyed devotional service, first we should become free from all sins, isn't it? Because that is also said in the 7th chapter, Yesham Tvantagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam Te Dvandva Moha Nirmukta Bhajante Mam Drida Vrataha. So only those who are free from all sins, they are able to render devotional service with determination. So Krishna is assuring Arjun, no, don't worry. You simply surrender unto me. I will take care of your sins. You don't have to do something else first to get rid of the sins in order to surrender. No need. You just surrender to me. That's all. I will take care of all of your sins. Then what do you need to surrender? You need Shraddha. If you get full Shraddha in Krishna, then you will surrender to Krishna. And surrender to Krishna means you will do Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Adyanavritam Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. You will do pure unalloyed devotional service 24/7 if you surrender to Krishna. So Krishna is saying, you simply surrender to me. So you don't have to become free from sins in order to become pure devotee. Understand that. But you need to have full faith in Krishna. So let's see what else Krishna is saying. The process of surrender to Krishna is described in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Hari Bhakti Vilas 11.676. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam. This is the 6 symptoms of surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishvaso goptritve varanam tatha atmanikshepa karpanye shadvidha sharanagatihi. According to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. Yes. So, rituals, religious principles, many are there. Should we do all of them? No. You should only accept those principles that will lead ultimately to devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in the social order. But if by executing his duty, one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all his activities are in vain. That is why we should do those activities which are prescribed in the scriptures. Karma is prescription in the scripture. Brahmanas' duties, Kshatriyas' duties, Vaishyas' duties, Shudras' duties. That is karma. But all the different types of duties invented in the society now, software, truck driving, factories, drilling the earth, multi-storied construction of multi-storied buildings, skyscrapers. This is not given in the Vedas. This is not karma. This is vikarma. So first of all, you should do activities which are prescribed in the scriptures. So, and also not simply doing those activities, that is not all. Those activities, by doing those activities, you should be coming closer and closer to Krishna consciousness. If that is not happening by your, this is occupation. Occupation means work that you do for your livelihood. So jobs that you do for your livelihood, that job should actually increase your Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, all the time you spend doing that work is simply in vain. All his activities are in vain. Now, while doing that work, if you are able to constantly think of Krishna, or if you are constantly able to chant Hare Krishna, then that chanting and that remembering will put you on the transcendental platform. Will put you on the transcendental platform. But if you are not doing that, when you are working, you are simply at work, then is that work going to help you become Krishna conscious? No. Aditi Lata Mataji.
Mataji, for our what is that sloka in Bhagavad Gita? It says, Krishna says that we have to do our duty, whatever our prescribed duty, but then rather than doing the duty perfectly of someone else's. So
Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Swanushtitaha. Swadharme Nidhanam Shreyaha Paradharmo Bhayavaha. That means it is better to do one's own duty even though faultily than doing another's duty perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than following another's path, because following another's path is dangerous. Okay, so what's your point?
So if someone is in the construction business, so that person, that is the capability of that person, and that is what his family is doing. So how can we say that you are wrong? I mean, I understand what you're saying, that he has to be Krishna conscious and doing it, always thinking that I'm building it for Krishna. But ultimately, not everyone is a pure devotee, that every work we are doing, I mean, they are doing for Krishna. So that
yes, he is not a pure devotee. He is not a pure devotee. That's why he should do karma, which is good. So construction is not wrong. I didn't say construction is wrong. I'm saying building multi-storied skyscraper buildings, that is vikarma. We need homes to live in. Even in Vedic society, they had homes, palaces. So someone has to build that. Of course, construction is a Shudra's job. So Shudras build. So there's nothing wrong with that. That is his karma.
So skyscraper, how does it make a difference? That is also house. Because of the shortage of space, they are making it longer.
Why there is shortage of space?
Even Mataji, even if we are thinking of, like, I'm not saying for pleasure that they are building because it will sell in high cost. I'm just saying, like in Swarga also, we have read in many places, like Kashyapa Muni also built a palace, 5-story palace from his mind for his wife.
Kashyapa Muni did tapasya, and by his tapasya, Lord Vishnu gave him darshan, and he was in ecstasy seeing Lord Vishnu. And why he performed tapasya? Because he is a Prajapati, and Prajapati's duty is to procreate and produce children. Swayambhuva Manu personally came to ask Kashyap Muni to accept his daughter Devahuti in marriage. Okay, so that happened later on. But before that, Kashyap Muni was given birth, right, to procreate. So in order to procreate also, first they pray to Lord Vishnu. So I'm just trying to tell you the consciousness of the person. You're simply seeing that he built a big palace, but what was his consciousness? He got the darshan of the Supreme Lord, and not only that, the Supreme Lord appeared as his son Kapil Dev.
Yes, Mata,
So,
I agree.
so what is the consciousness of this construction worker who is building a skyscraper building? Is he even?
I understand.
So the whole point is, Mataji, the whole point is today's society is godless. They have taken God out of the center. So when you take God out of the center, whatever plans you make, even though your intentions may be good, you want that everyone should be peaceful, we want the place to be eco-friendly and this or that, we have lost the clue to happiness. The clue is keeping God back in the center. That is the main difficulty, that's the main fault. So when you put God in the center, then naturally you will follow God's way of life. This system, Krishna himself says, he gave this Varnashram system. The Vedas give us how we can live peacefully. Now, the more we are moving away from God, the more we are becoming godless, we are creating a society, a godless society, and every year you see we come up with newer and newer gadgets, right? We didn't have smartphones a few years ago. Now no one can live without a smartphone. Practically, it's like your consort or something. In night also, next to your bed, on your bed, you have the phone, and all day, practically, you have to carry the phone with you all the time. We have become so dependent. This smartphone is the creation of a godless society, a godless person. Is this required? Is this required for a human being? No, it's not required. Even in our own lives, we lived some years ago, decades ago, we were living without a phone. But weren't we happy? We were happy. Ultimately, we all want to be happy. So the point is, the work that you do, that work should bring you closer to God, not take you away from God. If the work that you're doing is taking you away from God, then that work is simply a useless waste of time. That's the point. You understand that point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that is the thing. It's not about, externally it may seem like, what did he do? Right? This particular person is put in this, he took birth in this society. He doesn't know anything better. That's all he knows. He's doing his work. Fine. But he'll also have to bear the consequences of that. Ignorance is no excuse. You heard that, right? Just because I'm ignorant of the law of that state, I drive on the wrong side, I cannot appeal to the judge that, oh, I didn't know the law. I will still be punished even if I didn't know the law. Why? Because I'm supposed to know the law. So similarly, as human beings, we are expected to know. We are expected to know. And even if we don't know, still we will be punished. And all these activities, all these various professions, businesses that are existing in the society today, in the modern society, they are all godless. Ugra karma. And whether knowingly or unknowingly, when we engage in these activities, we will have to bear the consequences. There is no way out of that. Of course, one way out is offer. Whatever work that you do, you offer it to the Supreme Lord. Because when you offer it to the Supreme Lord, what happens is the karmic reaction becomes nullified. That's the advantage. So literally any work, even vikarma that you do, you have to offer it though. Verbally you have to actually say, right? Sakalam Narayanaya Samarpayeti. I'm offering everything. My walking also I'm offering. My sitting also I'm offering. My sneezing, my coughing. Then what to speak of my doing construction or my doing software job or my doing cleaning job. Every type of work that I do, it has to be offered. Is that bhakti? It's one type of bhakti, but it's not really pure bhakti. But nevertheless, the benefit is you don't have to suffer the reaction of that work when you offer it to the Lord. So that's one way out. So as devotees who know this, or even people in a Varnashram society, Vedic society, they are aware of this. That's why they offer everything. First of all, they don't engage, knowingly they don't engage in vikarma. But if something like that is there also, they just offer everything. That's the way out. So for all of us who are by majburi, right, helpless condition, because of helplessness, if we are somehow bound to do this type of work, first of all, we should not feel that it's okay to do this work. We should feel that I should not be doing this work, but I don't have any other way at the present moment. So, with great regret, you should offer even that work to Krishna. Consciousness is important. So, with this consciousness, when I am offering to Krishna, then I can be forgiven. And if I am actually regretting, that means at the first opportunity, I will give up this type of work and I will try to take up that work which is prescribed by the scriptures. Like our Jai Ganesh Prabhu, he did that, right? He gave up, he took a big step, a bold step, and now he's trying to do something which is not only just prescribed by the Vedas, but also something which is pleasing. He's taking care of Krishna's devotees, the cows. So we should be at least thinking of, doing something like that. It may or may not happen in our lifetimes, but where is our heart at? Where is our mind at? That is important. But if I feel that no, what I'm doing is fine, if that is our consciousness, then we won't make progress in Krishna consciousness. So that's the point. Okay, so we didn't finish the purport again today. Let me see how much more is there. Oh, one more paragraph. Let me just read it. I'll just read it, okay? According to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in the social order. Okay, when you say social order, immediately Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. You can accept. But if even those duties, by executing his duty, one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, even those duties of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are all in vain. All his activities are in vain. Point is samsiddhir haritoshanam. Atah pumbhir dvijashreshta varnashrama vibhagashaha swanushtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. That means that by your duties, occupational duties in the varnashrama society, if the Supreme Lord is not satisfied, then such work is of no use. Or the perfection of your work is when the Supreme Lord is satisfied by your work. So if you're satisfied, of course you will be Krishna conscious. Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. You see, Krishna Prabhupada is saying, anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. One should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. Right? Rakshishyati iti vishvaso. You have full confidence, vishvasa, in what? Rakshishyati. Krishna will protect me. Why he will protect me? Because I am trying to live according to his instructions. Even though it is difficult, I am still trying to live according to his instructions. And because I am trying this, he will certainly protect me. You will have this confidence that my Lord will protect me. Just like that little baby on the mother's shoulder, right? The baby literally just drops, like full confidence. The mother will be worrying, right? Like if she's in a crowd or in a temple, right? Mayapur temple, there's so many people. She will be worrying about the baby. Baby does not worry because she knows I am with my mother will protect me. Like that, Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa means you have full confidence, completely dependent on Krishna. He will protect me. You remember in the battlefield, Arjun, right? Arjun was not worrying. Krishna was worrying about Arjun. He was trying to protect Arjun, like that. So there is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. So all this is, that is why Shraddha is important. When you get Shraddha, you don't worry, how I'll pay my bill, where food will come from, how I will feed my kids if I don't work, I need to do this job. All these thoughts tell us that I still don't have full Shraddha in Krishna. That's all. Because if I have Shraddha in Krishna, then I will think he will protect. My job is to simply serve him. And then it is his job to feed me and to maintain me, not just me, my family, and everyone else. This is a pure devotee. This is a pure devotee. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying from the stand, so Sarva Dharman Parityaja means what? Surrendered means he is a pure devotee. So, from that position, Prabhupada is saying, so for such a person, there is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. Goptritve Varanam, right? That means he is my maintainer. Goptritve Varanam Tatha. He is my maintainer. He will maintain me. I don't have to worry about my maintenance. So these are all symptoms of one who is surrendered. Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless. Helpless. Karpanya, right? He sees himself as helpless and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. Atma Nikshepaha, right? That means completely dependent. If Krishna does not protect me, I am finished. I cannot save myself. So one should feel like that, helpless, and should consider Krishna the only basis of his progress in life. As soon as one seriously engages himself in devotional service to the Lord, in full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature. So if we can have this type of consciousness of surrender, at once you will become free from all contamination of material nature. There are different processes of religion and purificatory processes by cultivation of knowledge, meditation in the mystic yoga system, that means jnana, ashtanga yoga, etc. But one who surrenders unto Krishna does not have to execute so many methods. You don't need to practice yoga if you're doing Krishna consciousness. You don't need jnana. I am not this body, I am a spirit soul. You don't have to meditate on these things. If you surrender to Krishna, that simple surrender unto Krishna will save him from unnecessarily wasting time. One can thus make all progress at once and be freed from all sinful reactions. There's one more paragraph. Should I keep it for tomorrow? I think it's time already, right?
Yes, Mataji, for explanation.
Yes. So let's stop here and maybe very little bit of Lilamrita I will read. I'm just attached to that, so I will read that. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. And thank you so much, Priyanka Haripriya Mataji, for your status. Mataji posted Srila Prabhupada's picture when, during the time that we are reading in Lilamrita now. Srila Prabhupada had his 3 volumes of Bhagavatam ready. He was in that, apartment in Chippiwada Street in Delhi and just waiting now to go to the West. So that's on Mataji's status. I don't know if it is still there. Maybe yesterday it was there. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. Continuation. So remember, Dr. Agarwal's father, he agreed to, sponsor Srila Prabhupada. But now Srila Prabhupada also needs money. He got a sponsor in America, but how he will go to America? He needs ticket. For that he needs money. So he again went to Bombay to meet Sumati Morarji. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So after that, Mr. Bhagwani, I took him to the Popular Book Depot. Okay. So he didn't meet Sumati Morarji yet, but he went to Mr. Bhagwani and then he was trying to sell his books at different places, but nobody accepted because there is no demand for spiritual books. If you sold Stardust and things like that, they will sell very nicely. But for spiritual books, there is no demand. Bhaktivedanta Swami returned to Delhi, pursuing the usual avenues of book selling and looking for whatever opportunity might arise. And to his surprise, he was contacted by the Ministry of External Affairs and informed that his no objection certificate for going to the US was ready. Since he had not instigated any proceedings for leaving the country, Bhaktivedanta Swami had to inquire from the ministry about what had happened. They showed him the statutory declaration form signed by Mr. Gopal Agarwal. So Prabhupada didn't apply for this. From where did he get this no objection certificate? Prabhupada even forgot it because he told anyone he met. But all of a sudden, he gets this letter that now you can go to America. There's a no objection certificate. Prabhupada, I didn't even apply. From where I got this? So they showed him the declaration form signed by Gopal Agarwal of Butler, Pennsylvania. Mr. Agarwal solemnly declared that he would bear the expenses of Bhaktivedanta Swami during his stay in the US. Srila Prabhupada. Whatever the correspondence was there between the father and son, I did not know. I simply asked him, why don't you ask your son Gopal to sponsor? And now, after 3 or 4 months, the no objection certificate was sent from the Indian consulate in New York to me. He had already sponsored my arrival there for 1 month. That means Prabhupada could stay there for 1 month. And all of a sudden, I got the paper. So we'll stop there. Thank you all so much for your...
Mataji, I just want to share one thing. So
Yes.
when Prabhupada obviously was Prabhupada, he was like so close to Krishna. So Gopal Krishna Maharaj, when we went to this meeting, right? He came to Baltimore. That's where Priyanka Mataji got initiated. So his main motto is, Prabhupada actually gave him this task of book distribution and building temple. So in the lecture, he was actually saying, initiation lecture of Priyanka Mataji, he said that those are the two things he emphasized on, because Prabhupada said that, and believe me, Mataji, we actually saw that his presence, he doesn't even need to open his mouth. In his presence, he collects money. That's it. This person, I don't remember the name, he was from Mayapur for building this Narasimha-Dev's temple, which they're building. So they were asking people to pledge. So in Priyanka Mataji's ceremony, before that only, they were saying whoever wants to pledge, and they did type of auction and all. And at that ceremony itself, that time itself, there was, we can guarantee it was more than 100,000 they just got. Someone is giving 25,000, someone is giving 5. It's like, oh my God, and we can see every time, Mataji. Last year also, when Guru Maharaj came in Baltimore temple, they wanted to distribute and collect donation for Bhagavatam set. We all have Bhagavatam set in our home. But because Guru Maharaj said, they said that Guru Maharaj will be signing one copy. Just one of them, he will be signing on the front. Everyone bought like 2, 3, 4 sets. Like it was like the whole collection was finished. Then they started taking orders. They will be directly sending at home, like that.
Wow.
Everything. Just his presence every time we see Mataji. Even they hired a big auditorium because the devotees were so many, like 700 people were there, just this area. Now he's going to go to Detroit and then Toronto. So in that also, Guru Maharaj's books were there. It is $185 the cost. So generally, if we see those type of books, in the stall or anywhere, they will hesitate. Everyone will hesitate. Like, okay, should I give so huge amount? But there, the books just sold off because it is Guru Maharaj's book, and then they started taking order just to send home. Can you imagine, Mataji, his presence? He's like blessed by Prabhupada and Krishna, of course.
Of course. And
Yeah.
also he was not well last year, right?
Yes.
Even this year, earlier this year. And
This
I
year
remember
also, yeah.
Prabhuji saying that,
Yes.
he may not come back to America again.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. And in this health also, we can see literally that he's, like probably a little bit of paralyzed, and all those things are there. But still he's walking, still he's going to Mangalarti, and I got chastised by Gita Mataji because I got so tired, I didn't go to one of the Mangalarti, and she was saying, you didn't come to Mangalarti? Look at Guru Maharaj. After traveling not continuously in the flight, also he went to Mangalarti. He didn't stop. We are I am so shameful, Mataji, but still, I'm always thinking of my body.
Yeah, they set the example for us, so that we can follow. So even if it is difficult or whatever, they do it to set an example for all of us. Of course, they do it to please Krishna, but their behavior is an example for us.
Can't even, and they were sharing one of his one of his secretary was sharing this incident that 5-6 years back, when Guru Maharaj had some issue with his eyes, the eye drops were given on his every half an hour. He is supposed to give some eye drops. So they were coming and giving eye drops for after every half an hour. Then Guru Maharaj was so tired. He has so hectic schedule. One time he just dozed off because he was closing his eyes, after the eye drop. Then they let him sleep. And then when he woke up, he chastised them, why didn't you wake me up? Every moment I am actually sleeping, I am actually going near Maya. He is saying, can you imagine? Oh my God. Oh my God. I was thinking he is saying like that. He's going in Maya. That's why he doesn't want to close his eyes. And I'm sleeping because I'm just getting tired. Oh, I want to take rest.
This is pure devotional service, Mataji. They don't want to waste even a single moment without Krishna consciousness. This is pure devotional service. That's pure devotional service.
I don't know whether I will be able to do it for any time in my lifetime.
Well, you can get that when you get the mercy of a pure devotee. By our endeavor, it won't happen. We should endeavor, but it's given. It's given. So, you already got shelter of Guru Maharaj. So now it's up to you how you take shelter of. Oh, just before I forget, so today is the last day of Purushottam Mass. Those of you who are following some type of vrata, or some of you are maybe reciting some prayers for Purushottam month. Today is the last day, and if you are fast.
Did we have class yesterday, Mataji, in the evening? Because I logged in and no one was there.
Yes. I gave you the timing. No, time is changed now. 6:15.
Oh, 6:15.
Because I have Mangalarti at 4:30. So I do it before Mangalarti starts. So I'm doing my 3:45 a.m. to 4:15 a.m.
So 6:15 to what time?
6:45. Half an hour. And just I am reading. We are not taking turns, because even if it got a little later, our morning program will be missed. So for the time being, with the present situation, I will read and I will explain also, and I live stream it also. But For now, we'll just do it in this format. I will read and I will explain. And questions also, no, because discussion means like now, right? It's going over time. Now it's okay, but at that time it will be difficult.
Yes, yes.
But I did this morning. Prabhuji came, Kalpesh Prabhu came, and Narsimha Praladeshwar Prabhu came. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mataji, you're going to temple for Mangalarti?
Yes,
There?
Mataji.
Wow, nice. Please pray for all of us. Okay. Thank
I pray for all of you every day. Naturally. I mean, I don't have to remind myself, it just happens naturally.
you. Very nice. And this Purushottam mantra there.
Yeah. So I have to actually break. That's also the reason why I said. Now it's going to be my 6 o'clock. I was supposed to break after 3 o'clock, 3:07. Amavasya was ending. But anyway, I'm going to break now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank
Mataji.
you.
Hare Krishna.
All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. I will see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.